Hello everybody, the UofCWildcat here. I'm bringing you another deck lab. Hopefully this comes out on Monday. I'm hoping that the video will get done and all set to go. By the time the end of the day rolls, it'll probably be a late 11 o'clock to midnight video. But I'm hoping that it gets out for you guys and you guys can see this. It's a little bit of a video that I'm glad to be talking about, and hopefully you guys can take this and enjoy it. First off, I would love to give all the credit in the world to Matt Coombs. He is with LabZ, and he came up with this deck that is probably one of the coolest decks. It's a really cool mechanic that you can roll into your locals. It's basically the Roshi combo deck. There was a post about it, and people read it, and they're like, oh, it's okay, it's pretty cool. But I don't think a lot of people understand how insane this deck can be. Because basically what this deck presents is another win condition. With Anger being a deck that's kind of, hard to win with, and Dragon Ball's always been difficult with Namekian around. Basically everybody's relied on beatdown or mill in some fashion to win the game. Well, this is like the closest thing to like a combo deck in a game. If any of you have played Hearthstone, many of you have played against the Force of Nature, Savage Roar type decks, and Druid likes to run. So they basically, will throw out, try and, get you low, and basically just win off that 2 cards that you can't stop. And it's really, really cool in that idea of it. So basically what I want to do for you today is do a deck lab over the combo deck. And hopefully you guys do enjoy. I do suggest trying it. Going out, trying it. This video is probably going to bring a little bit of popularity to the deck if people are so inclined to play it. So it's not going to be a surprise too much to some people, but maybe you can go out there and, have a little bit of fun with it. I know I did. It's pretty cool deck, but it is a very hard deck to run as well. So, let's get into the deck now. As always, let us start off with the list. Alrighty guys, going on with the list. And first off, we're going to start off with the non-combats, or their setups, drills, allies, basically all that stuff that's played during the planning step. I use that term a lot, and I realize that I may not have explained it before. But yeah, non-combats, basically stuff that's not played, or that's played not during combat. So we're going to start off with the first part of the deck, and it's one of the more important parts, all 7 Dragon Balls. Being able to combo out all the balls and win the game is a big part of this deck, so all 7 of those bad boys. Our next card, Dragon Radar, pretty big staple for our Dragon Ball decks. The next card is actually a really cool card with Roshi, and I want to get it into my other Roshi decks. I just haven't found space. But this card, Heroic Assistance, you remember that Ultra Rare? That Ultra Rare that like nobody played? Heroic Assistance, throw that in the deck. It does a lot of really, really strong things. Next card we got, Heroic Plan. We run a decent amount of the non-combat cards, so this is a really, really good way to get some value out of it. Then, the first of Roshi's many amazing name cards, Roshi Slumber. A big integral part of your combo that you want to be able to get off. And then we got, VTP, and a deck that's semi-passive, because when you can't get the combo off, you kind of want to fall back on a backup plan, as is. So, VTP to get stuff like time, to get stuff to help you ball out, or to have a really big combo turn outside of the combo could be really, really good. Then we got Orange Aura Drill. We run enough energies where it actually is pretty viable to get some damage if you can't get combo. We got the physical Red Burning Aura Drill, or Orange Burning Aura Drill. Ugh. You got Orange Hiding Drill. Joint Restraint is a really, really nice drill, and it does help propel the combo going for some damage. And then finally, Orange Steady Drill. So our non-combat's there. The drills, it's kind of a small amount, which, if the deck wasn't combo, that's basically how a deck would be run. A small amount of drills that are not, super, super important. The aura and joint restraint together is kind of odd, but, if you do need to switch the gears from physical to energy, you do have an ability to do that. So that is why we have that. Oh yeah, I also want to thank my buddy, Alec Rudin, who let me borrow the deck. I have it built, but it's all scrapped because I've played 3 different Roshi decks. So when I was sitting there and I was about to throw it together, he's like, here, you can just use mine to deck lab it. So I was like, oh, that sounds great. So going on to our events, 3 confrontations, just a pretty good card overall. One of the big linchpins in the entire deck, and one of the cards that has really shot up in value. Defiant Challenge, just super strong to go get them backstrikes back. Then we finally got our Heroic Energy Spheres, and that's what's really cool. We got some Worlds promos here. That's one of the really nice things that I got out of the borrowing of this deck, is to show those guys off. Oh, it's so nice. Those are our events, and now we will move on to the attacks. And we have a decent amount of attacks. It's, you know, you're able to go back into beatdown if need be. So let's start off with our energies. We got Crushing Beam, just a really good card with Roshi because it adds a Rejuve or an Anger on 1 or 2. And it goes back in the deck. It has Endurance. Just a good card overall. Optic Blast with balls, we want to be able to cap them back. And then one Soul Pesky Barrage. We move on, we got one dig to have a big combat later on if need be. And then here's the other linchpin. 2 Master Roshi's Backstrikes. Limit 2 per deck, obviously. But the card itself is just very, very strong to go get anything. You don't have to show your opponent. And it just can really win you the game by itself. Being able to go get anything you want, and it can really, you know, destroy them. One of the best things that you can do is if you're trying to go combo, you roll out Master Roshi's Backstrike, and your opponent's tries to throw out, and they're like, time, right away. You can just be like, okay, I'm going to search for Sphere, and you sphere their time. And it really can throw them off, because your immediate pick happens first, but they want to throw out their block and give up what they've got. Go right ahead and sphere that time, and just ruin their entire turn. Then, the main combo piece, the #1 part of this deck. Orange Charge, the new physical attack that they released in set 5, and this card is just so strong. And we'll get to that when we talk about the strategy of the deck. 2 Playful Punches, it's a nice Omni block, but at the same time it is stage gain and it is 3 life as a physical attack, so really good. And then obviously our Chokes. We want to be able to seal the game late game, and Choke's a really good card to do that. And if we're playing against other decks that like big board states, Choke has always just been amazing in that kind of situation to deal strong damage. Alrighty, on to the final part of the list. We're going to have our blocks. Start off with our first bit. We got Orange Energy Absorption, really solid energy block. And then the other one that combos with it all the time, Orange Energy Catch. The stage gain with that is really good. Orange Refocus, being able to go get a drill is cool. But it's just overall a good one. And then Orange Dodge, about the same thing. Just a really good card there. And then Time is a Warrior's Tool. This is the old Scorzy Time. Use that as a proxy from a lot of the time. Because, you know, we want our decks foiled. You can tell this deck's pretty foiled out. And I think this is the only orange deck Alec has at the moment. So, obviously, you want to have your #1 deck foiled out. And that's what he's got basically here. But, you know, when you play an actual other deck, Time's got to go somewhere else because it's in every deck. Unless you're me, building a deck for the first time, and you forget Time. But there we go. That's the list for you guys. The strategy, which we'll be going to next, it's going to be a little bit different. But I hope you guys do enjoy it. So let's move on now to the strategy of the deck. Alrighty guys, so now we're going into the strategy of the deck, and you may be thinking something's weird here. We actually got a match set up, which is the way I think is the best way to show off what the deck actually wants to do in its best entirety. So if I go over here and I have my deck, I'm going to set it up with the, you know, what would be a good hand. Basically the cards that you are wanting to get in your hand are in any iteration of this. There are some iterations that are way better than others. So we'll shuffle up the deck, shuffle up and deal. But these are the 3 main cards that you want to get. Either Backstrike, Defiant, or Orange Charge. And the reason for that is this card right here, Orange Charge. Basically with this, if the attack hits, you reveal your deck until you hit a styled card. When we were going through our styled attack, when we were going through our deck, you may not have noticed, but the only styled attack is Orange Charge. So you orange charge, and you keep revealing until you hit orange charge. And then you do it again until you reveal orange charge. And then on the last one, you reveal there's no more orange charges. And then, when that's all done, you can rearrange your entire deck. There has since been an errata, which does make this a little bit harder to do. You may think this is still pretty easy to do, and I'll show you how that is still done. But, you know, getting these cards can beget orange charge. But the way you want to do it is to kind of, you know, make it a little bit harder. So let's say we've got in our deck those two cards somewhere, and we draw into Roshi's Backstrike, and that's it. So basically, here's our cards, and then from here, all we want to do is Backstrike, search our life deck for Defiant Challenge. Okay, you do our Backstrike if he takes the damage. Usually, unless he's in A, it's going to do 2 stages. You banish Backstrike, you get Defiant in your hand. You know, do whatever, say I block an attack. Alrighty, well, I Defiant Challenge then. Take a name card, put it on top of my life deck, search my life deck. So I grab Backstrike again. Since I searched my deck, I rejuvenate a card. Okay, so now you're seeing what's going on. The deck's, you know, getting some shuffles in, some shuffles. Oh, well, I just shuffled in the energy catch, but usually at the end of that, it would be rejuved and at the bottom of the deck, but not too much of a big deal. Then, with the 2 cards in hand, okay, well, we'll Backstrike again. You go get a card. You don't have to show them what it is, but we'll grab Defiant. Shuffle. If you add a discard pile or anything in the discard pile, you would rejuve because you're on Roshi 1. If that hits again, 2 stages, which is pretty cool. Then you Defiant again, do Backstrike again. Put it on top, add it to your hand. Shuffle. Then you Backstrike. Again, this is all assuming that, you know, at this point they're passing, which is the main thing you want to do. If you get one of these turn 1, it's basically run them out of actions. And it's pretty okay to do. There's it's not easy, but, you know, there's a way to do it. So we do our Backstrike, and then we go get Defiant Challenge. You know, shuffle. Then Defiant Challenge for Backstrike. Shuffle. Anything in the discard pile you go get. Then Backstrike for Backstrike. Should be down over. I saw it when we went through the first time. Backstrike. Good. Then, on the last one, Backstrike, search your life deck for orange charge. Then, you have the potential for the combo. Charge. You reveal until you hit a styled attack. So we keep revealing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So as you see, we're going through a big chunk of our deck here. But yeah, it actually is a good chunk of stuff that you can do right here. Revealing. And there we go, orange charge. Everything else that you revealed can get put back in any order at the bottom of your deck. But at this point, you hopefully don't care. Now your next attack's also going to be doing a hell of a lot of stages. Now, you orange charge again. Search your life deck. Or first, you reveal with your search effect. Or no. What is the way that you do this? Yeah. First, you use the hit effect. Or whatever, to reveal until you hit charge. I forgot it's a reveal, so. Doing this again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you just keep revealing until you get to the last orange charge. There we go. Add that to your hand. Now, here's the really cool part. At this point, you may be thinking, how are you going to reorganize your deck? There's where Adept Mastery comes into play. I had it do a hit effect, so search my life deck for a drill. Let us go grab Orange Joint Restraint Drill. Seems like a pretty cool drill to grab, so we'll shuffle our deck. Just do a quick one. Since my deck was shuffled now, I rejuvenate a card. Oh, look at that! Now they have to pass Orange Charge. Oh, guess what? The only styled attack is at the very bottom of my deck. So guess what I get to do? I get to reorganize my entire deck. So, at this point, you would go for the reorganization combo. That's a pretty cool way to do it. So at this point, I'll show you what you're supposed to do for the reorganize. Let's put this over here. Our hand's still up here. We still have another charge, but we won't be using that because we'd have to shuffle our deck at that point. All the cards that you care about are these as follows. All the Dragon Balls. Time is a Warrior's Tool. And then 2 spheres. And I think that's it. Do we have all of our cards? So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think this is it. So what you want to do with your setup, on top Roshi Slumber, then you put 2 balls that you don't care about, that really don't have any effect on the game or whatever. 2 balls, 6 and 1. So right now our order, if I can move the deck out of the way, Slumber, ball 6, ball 1. Then, ball 3, ball you don't care about, say ball 4. Then you put ball 5, and then the last 2 balls. Then you finish it off with Sphere, Sphere, Time. And the rest of the deck, you don't really care about. Most of the time. Most of the time. There will be times where you do care. But you set up your deck in that manner. And then you can finish the combat. If I wanted to throw a choke, which I probably would here, because I'd probably choke for 5 life cards and 13 stages unpreventable. And that's something you also need to realize. As we're throwing these like massive amounts of charges and all these strong, or like we've sent out about 8 attacks now, and then this would be the 9th. That's a lot of damage that you could be doing with this deck, which is also something pretty crazy. And we'll show you the damage combo afterwards. But yeah, say I choke, whatever. Now, say that was my opponent's enter, and I just drew into that. Now it goes into my turn. 1, 2, 3. Now I play Roshi Slumber, ball 1, ball 6. Pass Rejuve Charge. Now, this is where the money is. I'm obviously going to pass him Rejuve. Now my opponent is locked out of the game, more than likely, unless they have a few cards, which we'll get to when we go to the matchups. Now, say my opponent decides he wants to enter combat. I Roshi Slumber. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, oh no, look at all these Dragon Balls we're going to draw. But remember what we set up over here. We just go yoink, set those guys up, and draw our 3. Now, what is our opponent going to do in this situation? Because whatever he attacks with, time. If he wants to try and respond with something, sphere. If he wants to try and stare down us, sphere. If he wants to, you know, if we have time and he tries a sphere, sphere, sphere. We basically have made it so time is pretty much untouchable. Time is going to go through, and at that point, we just, you know, whatever, blah, 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 don't care about the combat. Say combat goes all the way through. Goes into my turn now. Now, we got our Dragon Balls. Or, we have to have a card in our hand at the end of the turn. We'll have a card some way. We'll play Dragon Ball 3. We draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. 2 cards to the bottom. We'll put those 2. And look at that. We have just won by Dragon Ball victory. And that, my friends, is how you combo. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, wow, that's so very, very cool. Yeah, that's like one of the cooler concepts. Well, that's not the only thing this deck can do as well. Because what happens, let's think about this, what happens if I have Charge Defiant, or Charge Backstrike, or Backstrike Defiant, or this if I have either of the 2 cards? Well, you know, every time we throw this for 2 stages, what would happen? What would happen if we started out with Orange Charge and that got played over here? We reveal our deck or whatever and say we went through 10 cards and he can't stop it or whatever. Then we throw our Backstrike. Search our life deck for something. Probably another Defiant. Whatever. Or no, at this point, we would search our... Or no, we would have a Charge from our Charge, so we'd have that in hand. But then we search our life deck for something. Let's say we go for Backstrike. Wherever it is. Oh, it's in that Banish Zone. It's over here. Say we go and grab Backstrike with Backstrike. Well, we just search our deck, so Charge goes to the bottom. And now you see, every time we can start out with Charge, Shuffle effect. Charge, Shuffle effect. Charge, another Shuffle effect. And we played 5 of those Shuffle, or it was more than 5, but we got 5 Backstrike Shuffle effects, 8 total Shuffle effects. So that means you can get 8 uses out of Orange Charge, adding more stages, and then do Charge. That's potential for over 200 stages of damage. And if they don't have a block, they lose. So that, my friends, is how you win with the beatdown variant of it. Having any combination of this. Either these two, or these two. I think that's it. Yeah, those are the only combinations of those. But if you have any of those options, you just win the game. That's insane. So that's the beatdown variant. I am so sorry, though. This strategy portion has gone on really long. I'll try and make the last few parts of it quicker in talking with matchups and stuff. But, you know, I wanted to make sure I got, like, a full demo of the combo so you guys understood it. Probably was a little bit wordy and was a little bit long. But I hope you guys do like that, though, that, you know, I've laid it out pretty simple for you guys to understand and you see how it works. As it does its crazy things. But moving on now, let us go on to the matchups of the deck. Alrighty guys, moving on to the matchups of the deck. This deck can really roll over some people. The Cell deck, the Namekian Cell deck, I think this can really get a jump on it. Because Namekian doesn't have a lot of stuff that can like disrupt this. They have spheres, obviously, for themselves. Overwhelming Power is a card that really can destroy the Dragon Ball. Like, if they just happen to have an Overwhelming Power and they rejuve and they, like, force a crit on it, then you are kind of SOL in that aspect. But other than that, you are so strong over here with the fact that, like, you're going to throw these combos. They can't stop the sphere. They don't have, like, a lot of mill in the deck. Like, maybe if they get a ball before you, that's the one thing that they can do to kind of slow down this combo. I would also say Saiyan... it's like half and half. I'd say it's 50-50. If they draw the cards they need, then this combo sucks against Saiyan. You know, domination is huge. Like, say I go on to my turn, and I have that Sphere time, or whatever. And they run out Saiyan domination. I just lose, because I'm getting destroyed that combat. And that actually did happen to me in one of my games. But, you know, like, if I'm playing a red deck, and they're not running Red Tandem Blast, which says I can't play non-styled cards, that I would destroy them as well. If there's any mill after I've set up my stuff, it'll ruin the combo. Anything like Black Perceptive is one of the worst matchups for this deck. Period, stop. It is so terribly hard to beat Black Perceptive with this deck. Because of their mill, you have to worry about that. You have to put like an extra card on top, and then they're like, alright, I won't mill. And it's like, well, geez, I'm kind of SOL in that aspect. Then, another one I would probably say is pretty hard is, ooh, there was another one that said you can't play events. Oh, Freezing Drill is one that's probably really good against this. Stops the time. Yajirobe, anything that searches, yeah, Roshi Ally is something that really can shut this deck down. And I would probably say Nappa is another really strong ally against this deck because it shuts off that Slumber setup turn. But you know, basically anything that stops a search is also really good. Oh, and then this is the one I wanted to talk about. It's super easy for a lot of decks that, you know, do force shovels or like a confrontation or something. Like if you still have a card in your hand, or if they do Black Nightmare, which shuffles your deck, or a searching technique where they search your deck, or a Black Scout Maneuver. Black has a really, really good matchup. I think Black's the best deck to face off against this one, but that's my opinion on all the matchups. But this deck, when it goes, it can win. Like, if you're not stopping the combo, you are losing the game. But if you could stop the combo, you have a pretty good chance to get it, and that's why I really, really like it. But, pretty much the matchups. I wanted to make that rather quick. But now let's move on to the final verdict. Alrighty, guys, moving on to the final verdict of this deck. The final verdict's going to be a little bit different, too, because, I mean, the deck itself is super strong, and if it really wants to win, yeah, it'll find the ways to win. But that's what makes the deck really hard, is if people know what's coming, it's going to be hard to like set up for that and be ready for that. So if I'm playing a Perceptive deck, I've got to worry about that mill from the Mastery. I've got to worry about just all these other effects where they could like play a card to set up the top card of my deck and kind of like mess up with that, with my setup as well. Or a searching technique to search my deck, or a scout maneuver to search my deck. It's just there's so much to deal with what I want to do with the deck in terms of setting up. And there's a lot of ways to get around that. But the one thing that's very, very hard to stop is the combo, where you do beats. If you have the beats combo and they don't have a block, you're probably winning that game. Because you just... 200 stages of damage is hard to stop. And if you can't stop that charge, you're just going to lose. If you don't know what's coming and you are like, oh, I'll stop an early backstrike. I don't want to take 2 stages. I need to do my thing this combat. But then they come up with a charge and it's a hit effect. You know, that is terrible. But I mean, if you're ready and you stop the charge, you also stop the combo. That's another way to stop this. But when you interlace it like that, it's really hard to stop it. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I really like this deck. It just becomes a matter of, is combo good for the game? And honestly, at this point, in talking with a lot of people about it, I think this combo deck is good because it's balanced. There's a lot of ways to disrupt it. But at the same time, there's, you know, it's really, really strong, and when it can go, it can go. And like I said, it's like another victory condition. Anger's pretty much SOL with all the D-levelers, all the anti-anger. With Yamcha having built-in lower anger, it's insane. Cell having a built-in D-leveler at his level 4, and it's pretty easy to get to level 4 with all these level cards as well. It's just, there's a lot to deal with, and like, you know, this is a pretty cool deck. It just adds another level to the game, and I really do enjoy it. But hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. If you liked the video, leave a like rating, and subscribe for more. Sorry this was a little bit longer. That's the strategy of it. I wanted to make it as cookie cutter. You see what's happening, like as I draw into my hand, that you guys see, oh wow, I actually see how the deck's working, and it's not like, you know, it's just a lot of words. I don't really see how the actions would work. That's basically how it would work. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is the UFC Wildcat, signing out.